Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Christiana Davidson, and I'm a psychotherapist and hypnotherapist. And my specialism is in childhood trauma, but more specifically, narcissistic family systems and how they impact us in adulthood. So let's dive into the topic today. But just before we do, if you haven't yet, just like this video, subscribe. Trying to get my numbers up a little bit, so that we can share this knowledge and get feedback as well. Okay, so the topic for today, I've titled it as overwhelming love and overwhelming fear, and how these two go together, and that they are a result uh, of having had a narcissistic parent. So, why did I want to talk about this topic today? Well, in the past, I have had clients, and I've had a few now that have come to me with a bit of shame, actually, talking about moments where they've met somebody and it's almost like they instantly have this sort of feeling of connection with them. But it's more than a connection, it's almost like something a bit sort of almost spiritual in a way. There's like this otherworldliness that takes place. It's like when they sit down next to them, there's this sort of real warmth, this real sense of security, a sense of the hope of really great connection potentially. And that it's sort of almost, in a sense, it's the answer to everything. That here I have the chance now to meet that desire in me for real deep intimate connection. And sometimes this can be, with the same sex even. It can be a sort of friendship. In a friendship, you can experience sort of this growing sense of love. But the thing about this love, um, you know, alongside being so warm and satisfying, there's an intensity about it. And this can be the uncomfortable part of it. There's such an intensity about it that it sort of starts to take over. And there can be a sense, it's almost like a yearning to want to be with that one particular person forever, that would be enough to stay in that bliss moment. So you have this sort of blissful sort of encounter that is full of hope. And what happens thereafter, generally, it's followed by the beginnings then of continuing to make that person sort of present even when they're absent. So when I say that, you start to ruminate. You might go over and over and over again what it was like, what the encounter was like, and there's a sense of getting that this feeling of warmth and connection and being in a little bubble feeling. But it's also sometimes coupled with fantasy as well, going off into fantasy where you're playing out different scenes or what might happen in the future or how you might bump into them or something like that. So slowly this person becomes the center of your world, the center even of your inner world. um, and they almost sort of take over your thoughts from then on. Now, when clients share something like this, it's deeply personal, and whenever we're talking about, love and the experience of it, it's something to really just um, hold securely and with respect, because it really does touch on our deepest, each of our deepest yearnings. So what I would do generally with clients is we begin to dig a little bit deeper tentatively into these feelings of love, if the client's willing to go there, that is. And often, this is with a particular client, we began to uncover that there was actually something deeper going on here. There was actually, beneath these feelings of intense yearning, there was a fear, just a fear that was lurking there. And when we're able to sit with it a bit, this fear, it became apparent actually that the fear was just as overwhelming as these feelings of love. In fact, the word that was used there was a terror, a terror behind the love. But what is that, and where does it come from? Well, the fear is that this person who poses the potential for deep, deep connection, for deep love, is at some point going to devastate me. That's the terror behind it all. That this love bubble is going to leave me devastated because it's going to end and I'll be left alone again. But the thing is, it's almost like there's a knowing that that is going to be the case, that there is going to be devastation at some point. And there's a shame about this in some ways. There's a shame about having all these, big feelings of overwhelming love for this other person. Because there's a realization that actually maybe this love is too much for the other person. That, they can't possibly be all that for me. Subconsciously, I think there's a deeper understanding that that is the case. And so when we dig further still, we discover that beneath the love, beneath the fear, actually there's a deep sadness. There's a deep sadness there that this situation is not going to last, that it's going to pass, and that it isn't the answer to the yearnings for connection within. It can't be, really. It can't be, because this yearning is an old yearning for connection with a parent. And of course, we can't go back and be that young girl or young boy and reconnect or have that attachment bond that we always wanted. So there's a realization that as much as this offers hope, there's also that sense of it can't really heal the depths of this wound. So like I'm saying here, this overwhelming love, this overwhelming fear, where does it stem from? Well, I suggest it stems from having a narcissistic or borderline parent. You had a parent who sometimes may have love bombed you. You may have been told, oh, you're an amazing child. You're God's gift. You've been sent from the heavens. You're going to be the next president, or, look at you, so much better than them, or, you could have been love bombed. Or even just had a momentary connection with them, like a dad sort of out of the blue, occasionally gets his son to come and help him fix the plumbing or something, and the boy can be like, wow, this is a moment of connect. It's like a moment of love amidst the absence normally. So we have these momentary love, overwhelming love experiences. But what makes them overwhelming is because they're usually followed by a devastating rejection from the parent. And I use that word devastation because it is a feeling of devastation. I don't think there's any other word that can quite describe what the discard is like. As Laura, hi Laura, thank you. Yes, love bomb discard. It is that sort of swinging between those two, the trauma bond. So sometimes your parent gave you moments of love bombing, but these were suddenly followed by a devastating rejection. And the rejection was their emotional withdrawal from you. They retracted their love from you. They retracted their love. So that love that they'd given you, lavished on you, suddenly was withdrawn from you, and you were just left with this sense, oh my God, I'm not going to get that back. How do I get that back? And so you would give all you could to the parent, to try to get that restored. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. And they eventually rejected you and discarded you again. So you were always caught in this love, fear, overwhelmed by love, overwhelmed by despair. And so you came to realize that, well, you came to learn, in your view, that love, that is what love is. It's moments of these overwhelming love feelings, and then it's going to be followed by the devastation. And so we can see then how this plays out in adulthood. In adulthood, you might find that you're in a similar relationship, where it's full of highs and lows. And you're constantly trying to maintain the love phase. You're desperately trying to keep that going somehow, tiptoeing around, trying to make sure that you're attuning to their moods, and that you're trying to keep yourself in good light in their eyes. What do I need to do? But the truth is, it doesn't last. And you'll be reenacting that on-off cycle. And it's exhausting. It's trauma. That's what it is. It really is trauma. But you see, it also is an addiction. It plays out often in like I'm saying, in future addictive relationships, but then also with substances, the excitement one hand, and then the devastation on the other. The excitement of going for a binge, and then only realizing afterwards, it's devastating, absolutely devastating what's happened. The same thing. You see, the truth is what we're really seeking, and always have been, is connection. That's what that overwhelming love is about. It's about the hope of finally getting real connection, real intimate connection with somebody, and for it to be secure. And so underneath this all, if you find yourself in these types of relationships, is that little inner child the little sad inner child trying to find the love that it needs, but a consistent love. And the truth of the matter is, nobody can rescue that inner child but you. Nobody can give that connection to your inner child as you can. And actually, that is the work that we have to do. And it can feel a bit sort of devastating to start with, but soon we discover that actually it's quite a wonderful relationship to begin. It can be very, very special. And the more we get to know our own inner child and meet their needs, the more we're able to see other people's inner childs as well. and to understand, I guess, the ways that others are trying to get their love needs and for connection met. So, if you would like to begin uh, rescuing your inner child, going in and easing the sadness behind it all, do book in to work with me. I've got a marvelous method that's really impactful. It's over 11 weeks, but it's guaranteed to shift things for you. You won't be the same as you are at the start. That's guaranteed. And I use rather psychotherapy and hypnotherapy to do that. And it's wonderful to encounter your inner child in hypnotherapy because it really is as if they come to life before you. Thank you, Laura, for commenting here. Laura says she's found this sort of on-off relationship in every relationship, friends, romantic partners, and she's sick of it. Yes, you do get to that point. And she also mentions that she's starting to connect with herself, perhaps her inner child, through meditation, yoga, and self-care. Absolutely. One of the best ways I find to start a relationship with your inner child is to take care of the body, because the body is the subconscious mind, and what you're doing to the body is caring for your inner world too. So that's a wonderful way to do it. Hi, Aline. Aline says hypnotherapy helped her so much. I'm so glad. Aline, it's true. I love hypnotherapy, especially to do this inner child work. There's something very, very special about it. And I feel honored as a therapist actually to accompany people as they encounter their inner child. Sometimes, we even go back to the womb. It's just incredible. But of course, that's all in the client's hands. Their subconscious mind guides us in the sessions. It's not me directing things as such. It's we become curious and put it in the hands of the subconscious to bring up what's needed. Yes, Celine, the body is the subconscious mind. It really is. I've just done a bit of a watermelon fast, and it's amazing having done that, how much in me it's been brought up psychologically and emotionally, how much healing has happened. So I really do encourage you, make your first step towards taking care of your body, and you will begin to see the shift. And then book in to work with me, and we can get you shifting at a rapid rate. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for commenting. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Aline. And I look forward to seeing you all in another live soon. Take care. Bye now.